Welcome to the Pharmacist Voice Podcast, episode 267. I'm your host, Kim Newlove. I am a pharmacist by training with experience in hospital, retail, compounding, and behavioral health. As of 2017, I'm not in clinical practice anymore. I am a voice actor and a podcast host. You can find my business and my podcast on my website, thepharmacistvoice.com. This is the 27th episode in my drug name pronunciation series. We're talking about atorvastatin today. It is one of America's top-selling drugs of 2021. As I record this in end of February of 2024, I would bet good money that it's still at the top of the list of best-selling drugs in America. What is atorvastatin? It is an HMG-CoA reductase inhibitor or statin drug that most patients would tell you is their cholesterol pill, my little white cholesterol pill in a lot of cases. It lowers cholesterol. Atorvastatin is generic for Lipitor. If you are new to my drug name pronunciation series, welcome. We don't cover pharmacology here, we just talk about drug name pronunciations. In this episode, I will divide atorvastatin and Lipitor into syllables, tell you which syllables have the emphasis, and then reveal the sources of my information. The written pronunciations, of course, can be helpful, so you will see them in the show notes on thepharmacistvoice.com. The purpose of these pronunciation episodes is to provide the intended pronunciations of drug names from reliable sources, so you feel more confident saying them and less frustrated learning them. If you are new to the medical field and you're just learning all of these statin drugs, you might have noticed that there are a lot of them. In my humble opinion, they're not too tough to say, and this first one, atorvastatin, will get you pointed in the right direction so you'll be on track to learn all the others, like simvastatin, lovastatin, pravastatin, and all the others. They all end in the stem statin, if you haven't noticed. Drugs in the same therapeutic class are given names with the same stem. In this case, the stem is the suffix statin. Let's go to the pronunciation of atorvastatin first. Atorvastatin has 5 syllables. Which is a short A sound like the A in adoption. Tor, like my son tore the wrapping paper off his birthday gifts last weekend. Va, like velociraptor. Stat, like I need to get away from that velociraptor right away. Stat. And in, like a 30-day supply of atorvastatin fits in a small prescription bottle easily. Put that all together and you get atorvastatin. Emphasize TOR and STAT. STAT gets the most emphasis. See if you can hear that emphasis on both syllables when I say it slowly. Atorvastatin. Atorvastatin. Lipitor is up next. Like most brand name drugs, Lipitor has 3 syllables. Lip, like the lips on your face. Which is a short I sound. It is similar to the I that's in the middle of the word president. And tor, like my son tore the wrapping paper off his birthday gifts. Put all 3 syllables together and you get Lipitor. Emphasize that first syllable, lip. See if you can hear that emphasis when I say it slowly. Lipitor. Lipitor. How did I know how to say atorvastatin and Lipitor? 2 different sources. That's the way it usually goes, 2 different sources. I found the written pronunciation for the generic name atorvastatin in the USP dictionary online. And I found the written pronunciation for Lipitor in the prescribing information for Lipitor on lipitor.com. Not familiar with the USP dictionary online? Let me tell you about it. It is a subscription-based online reference. There's a link to it in the show notes on thepharmacistvoice.com. The USP Dictionary is my go-to resource for generic drug name pronunciations. They do a great job. They break down generic drug names into syllables, they tell you which syllables to emphasize, and they provide a pronunciation guide for both the vowels and the consonants. The only thing that they could do better is to provide an audio file so that I know how to say it. Sometimes I will go to the dictionary when I don't know how to pronounce a drug name, and all I want to do is just push a button and discover how is it supposed to be pronounced. I need that. So USP, if you ever need me to be part of that project, I would love to help out. Anyways, I subscribe to this reference annually because I look up a lot of drug names for my voiceover business and these podcast episodes too, and I really appreciate that reference. And by the way, I am not compensated in any way for talking about the USP dictionary online. I do not work for USP. Next up, a quick word about Lipitor.com. When you go to Lipitor.com, click on Prescribing Information. You'll see that in the navigation bar at the top of the website. Once you get to the prescribing information, you need to look for the written pronunciation after Section 17. Section 17 is the patient counseling information section. You'll find the written pronunciation of Lipitor right after that. All right, let's review. I divided atorvastatin and Lipitor into syllables, talked about which syllables to emphasize, shared my sources, and then put the written pronunciations in the show notes, which you can find on thepharmacistvoice.com. That does it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me to learn how to say atorvastatin and Lipitor. To find the show notes for this episode, go to thepharmacistvoice.com, click on the podcast tab, and find episode 267. In the show notes, you'll find the written pronunciations for atorvastatin and Lipitor, a link to the USP Dictionary online, which, again, is a subscription-based resource. You'll also find a link to the pronunciation guide for the dictionary, which is available at no cost on the American Medical Association's website, links to the other 26 episodes in my drug name pronunciation series, my social media links, links to my online courses, and more. Lots of links today. You'll find everything you need on thepharmacistvoice.com. If you know someone who needs to learn how to say atorvastatin or Lipitor, please share this episode with them. And if you like this podcast, please subscribe to or follow the Pharmacist Voice podcast on your favorite podcast player and YouTube to get each new episode right when it comes out. Thanks for listening today. I'll talk to you next Friday.